Good morning. Thanks for being here. And thanks for that very gracious introduction. Like Steve said, I think what I would like to do is try to spend some time here today giving you a little bit of insight as to how Oracle thinks about open source, but in particular, given the importance of open source to Java overall and the Java community, how Oracle thinks about open source and Java. And I know it can look mysterious from the outside, how things are decided, how things go on inside of Oracle. Sometimes, to be frank, it can seem mysterious inside. So I'd like to spend about, I don't know, most of the portion of this presentation talking about that, and then talk a little bit about where we see things going. And hopefully this works. There we go. So to start off with, though, I think we ought to acknowledge that we have something to celebrate here, which is that we have a new JDK almost on the streets. It should go GA this week. And it's been a long journey with a few detours. I think some people thought we would never get there, but it's been a great accomplishment. I'd like to congratulate the team that put it together, a set of contributors in various forums, people in the Java community process for making this happen. And thanks to Steve for the live streaming. This is the time you should applaud. Yes, this is actually something I think we've all been waiting for a while. Okay, so let me start out on my discussion of open source in Java by talking about one of the detours on the road to JDK 7, and that was Oracle actually acquired Sun. This is old news, but I think it's important to understand that there's a fundamental difference in the way that Oracle views open source and the way Sun viewed open source. And this is actually kind of captured in Edward Screven, our chief corporate architect's comment here, which is that Oracle doesn't have an open source specific strategy. Okay, what we do is we have a strategy around delivering complete, open, integrated, and now engineered systems solutions to our customers. Now, I think that sort of sounds like a tagline. It is a tagline, but it also happens to be the truth, okay? And this is the way that we think about it. So when we think about open source, we think about open source within the context of that larger strategy that Oracle's following. In contrast, this is a quote from Jonathan Schwartz, Sun had a very consistent top-down open source strategy, really to prioritize community and adoption over instant monetization, as Jonathan put it. Now, standing from the outside looking in at Sun, from my perspective, was a very large, complex company with a lot of open source activity going on, but across that large, complex company, people were actually executing within this larger scale open source strategy. Now, as Sun was brought into Oracle, the projects that came in from Sun were put in alongside the business units where they made the most sense, where the business units have the most direct interest in it. So, for example, the OpenJDK and GlassFish are part of the middleware organization, which is where I reside. NetBeans, Hudson went into the tooling organization. Solaris stayed with the systems team, and then MySQL, OpenOffice virtualization technologies were lodged together with our Linux team under the chief corporate architect's office. So I think at this point people are going like, why is he boring us with this stuff? The reason I'm boring you with this stuff is because it's relevant to the behavior that you observe, I think, looking in. And that is that at Oracle, lines of business make decisions around these open source projects. So when the MySQL team decides to do something, they don't consult particularly with the OpenJDK team about how that might look or might appear and so on and so forth. In fact, these are Oracle decisions, but they are decisions that are driven by lines of business executing within that overall complete open integrated kind of strategy that we're pursuing. They are not, in contrast to Sun, being driven in the context of a larger scale open source strategy. Okay, and that's a behavioral difference. It's by design. It's very normal at Oracle. The end result, I think, is that when people look in at what we're doing, they see something in there like, well, that doesn't make any sense to me. But in fact, as driven by lines of business with this overall strategy, this is how we're driving decision making. I think it's also appropriate to take a minute to talk a little bit about communication. So, communication at Oracle is traditionally very, how shall I put it, structured. And we've definitely had some challenges, I think, in learning how to communicate and work with the open source community. And so I like this, this thing that went viral on the internet a while back, mainly I think because I really enjoyed the guns pointing at the different Microsoft organizational units. And of course, we took our own shellacking here. For those of you who didn't see this for some reason or can't see it now, we're over here on the lower right, and down below that big complex looking org is labeled legal, and the little one over there is labeled engineering. So it is really not like that at Oracle, but suffice it to say, I think that there's some challenges for us to communicate easily and transparently with the community that we've been working to improve. And I will say, it is getting better. Okay, so we made some improvements on this, and I think our goal as an organization is that our open source developers should behave like open source developers. Okay, they should communicate with the community transparently, openly, and so on. And I know many people in the open source community believe we're not where we should be yet. We are working on it, but it has gotten better, and it will continue to get better with, I think, the input and passion that we get from you guys. Okay, I guess that wants to stay up there. Okay, I want to stop now. I want to start here and talk a little bit about how we view the platform as driven through the Java community process, open source community, and how that meshes with our product strategy overall at Oracle. So for us, it's been very important for the JCP to be there and to succeed. Okay, the JCP is a place where vendors and businesses that depend on Java, individuals, Java user groups can sit down and hammer out the details of Java technology, its direction, where it needs to go, how we prioritize it, how we standardize it, how we can achieve interoperability, and how we can achieve and continue to have compatibility, which we believe is a really central value prop to Java overall. The open source community is incredibly important, okay? The ideas, the passion that comes out of open source, the developers involved with it, this flexibility and pace that people involved in open source are used to seeing is incredibly important to the Java community overall. From an Oracle product perspective, again, we're executing within that larger scale strategy, but make no mistake, for that strategy to succeed, open, meaning Java, has to succeed. For Java to be open, the JCP has to succeed. We have to provide this forum for people to sit down together and move things forward together. There will be plenty of opportunity, I think, to talk about the JCP here over the next few days. And the open source community that adds so much value to the overall Java ecosystem has to be encouraged, it has to be vibrant, and it has to succeed. So my point here is that we prioritize these areas, the JCP and open source, because it helps our business succeed. And my proposition to you is that ultimately it will make your projects, your investments succeed also. So I think our interests, you may feel that we're up there where we too high on that threat level index that I was displaying, but I think you should trust our motivations here, which are driven by our own business and our belief that that will align with your interests as open source developers. So how do we measure our progress here? How can we see how we're doing? So there's a couple things here, actually, I think that we at Oracle can take some credit in. One of those is OpenJDK. I think it's been a big surprise to people over the last year and a half how a number of major players have really rallied around OpenJDK, made it the place to drive open source Java development, and that's been a great step forward. I talked about the JCP. The JCP is moving. Okay, now that was not without some problems in making that come about, in fact. So it was a difficult process to get moving again. It is now moving again. We have SE7, which is done, will be delivered with the JDK. SE8 is underway, just starting. EE7 is rolling on the fast track to delivering cloud type of foundation. I'll talk a little bit more about. And in fact, we're using the JCP to improve the JCP. Okay, and that's a key thing that we're focused on, and you'll hear more about in various sessions today. Now, I think we need to keep an eye on these other metrics also. Java popularity, and are we seeing more demand for Java developers? And these are trending in the right way at this point. I think we won't know how that goes. We won't know how this is happening, but I think we are investing to improve these areas also. So I think this is an important way to kind of look at how we measure ourselves. So now that I've talked a little bit about our decision making, our motivations, and so on, what are our priorities? So this should be obvious, I think. Our highest priority is keeping Java vibrant, and doing that by investing in the platform, investing in the community, open source development of Java through OpenJDK, GlassFish, and so on, improving support for the developer community overall, open source community, and the JCP. Now, we are a profit-making entity. Okay, we are focused on improving shareholder value. We do not apologize for this at all, okay? That's what we do, that's what every company does. But that doesn't mean this isn't our highest priority. What it means is that we can make money as a money-making entity by adding value over and above the base platform, like a lot of you are doing, okay? So this is how we are thinking about our priorities at Oracle relative to Java. And we talk about the platform. We're not just talking about SE and EE. We're talking about rich client support through JavaFX. We're talking about mobile support on all kinds of devices, all the way out to cards and so on. We're talking about a lot of investment that you'll hear a lot more about today, I think, in the Java virtual machine itself and improving the Java language. So these are areas where we're investing overall in the overall Java platform. So where are we? We talked about Java 7. It's almost ready. It's going, I think, GA today or later this week, which, as we've talked about, we're also underway with Java 8. So to refresh your memory, what we did a while back was, as we began moving Java forward again, we made a decision to separate out a few of the high-order bits that were supposed to be part of the original Java 7 release to the Java 8 release. And those include proper support natively in Java for module systems, and then through Project Lambda, encouraging more functional idiom type of behavior within the Java language. We already have binaries available for some of this. We'll be rolling out builds through OpenJDK very shortly. On the client side, we announced a while back that we have redirected the investment in JavaFX towards the Java language itself, Java APIs, so that Java programmers can use their existing investments to get this incredibly rich user experience, coupling directly to the native graphics engine, and great performance. This is already out there. Whether you're building desktop apps or browser-based apps, JavaFX will be a great tool to get it done. It's already out there now in beta. It'll be GA toward the fall. On the EE front, lots of things are happening around us in the cloud, and And this is something I think which is a very common pattern we see in enterprises that we talk to. What we see is this phenomenon where developers and enterprises look at their IT departments and they just basically are like, why can't you just be more like Amazon for me? Give me some CPU, give me some disk, guarantee an SLA for me. I'd like to have some cloud services too. Could you give me some persistence and queuing, maybe something like that, and just get the heck out of my way? This is what people want inside of enterprises. It's also a very hard problem for the IT departments to deal with. So my point here actually is that Java EE as a platform has stepped up to solving some of these hard problems for enterprises before, and that's what we need to do today. Okay, there are lots of Java-based solutions for this coming about. I know you'll hear about many of them here. But these solutions ultimately today are either vendor-specific or sort of coalition of vendor-specific type of solutions. And what Java EE 7 is doing is bringing that same value of portability, interoperability to the base platform with broad-based support of a lot of players, taking advantage of the investments we've already made in EE6 for user productivity and development, bringing in new APIs for caching and data grid, improving REST support, and so on. We'll be introducing new actors into the Java EE sort of world, but beyond developer, container provider, and deployer. We'll start addressing the data center roles of PaaS administrator and so on, and we'll make that a formalized part of the platform so that as you build applications, as you manage applications and services in the cloud, you have those abilities to use those roles to provide better service. So within the time constraints today, this is a very quick overview. I hope you will go and check out our feature lists and roadmap in each of these areas. And please get involved. So being at a conference like this is one way to get involved. It's great. And this is one reason we're here supporting this type of activity. But there's also a lot of avenue to get involved with Java user groups. Java user groups rock. So Java user groups are really a great key to get involved in the community, to learn what's going on. I know we at Oracle are working very closely with a lot of Java user groups to help provide support for them, help that become a better vehicle for communicating with developers across the entire world. And if you have the time and energy, please get involved with the JCP. Please help us improve Java, improve the way Java is driven forward, improve the way that we interact with the open source community around the JCP. This is a key part of our investment. And so that's it. We have a number of really great speakers here at the conference today. I hope you'll check out their talks. And I hope you'll stop by the Oracle booth. And I thank you very much for listening.